We have breaking news today, a new lead in a cold case haunting Oregon for decades. Thanks for being here at noon. I'm Todd Unger. The Martin family has been missing since 1958, and now new leads prompting a major underwater search of the Columbia River. KOIN 6 anchor Jeff Gianola is live in Cascade Locks. Jeff, you have been tracking this mystery for nearly 2 decades yourself. Tell us more about the case and what is happening right now.
Todd, latest developments right now. Just moments ago, we have video of this. A barge has come upriver from Portland with a crane on it. And this is what they're going to use to lift a submerged vehicle, a vehicle that a local diver found. And now investigators think this indeed could be the Martin's car. A family of 5 that disappeared 66 years ago while taking a Sunday drive in the Columbia River Gorge. Let me set the scene here where we're at. I'm reporting from Cascade Locks, and I have a map of the scene right now so you can kind of get a feeling of where I'm reporting from. I'm in the media staging area right now. You see in the middle of the map, there's the command center. Because of my work on this case in the past, only KOIN 6, the only media allowed at the command center, and then I'm doing my live reports up at the media center. And then you can see where the car is submerged, and that's where the barge is docked. Right now, it has just lifted the crane moments ago. I want to talk a little bit about the Martin family. We have a snapshot from the mid-1950s, about 3 years before the Martin family disappeared. There's Ken Martin, who is 54, his wife Barbara, 48. They had 3 daughters. They had Virginia, who was 12 years old, Sue, who was 11 years old, and Barbie, who was 14, just about to turn 15. And then the gentleman, the young gentleman on your left in that photo sitting on the couch, that's older son Don Martin, who was in his 20s. He was living in New York. He was in the Navy when the family disappeared. He was somewhat disfranchised from the family a little bit. And so he was living back east when the family disappeared. I want to talk about the car that they may be pulling up from the river. Where were the Martins when they disappeared? This was a 1954 Ford station wagon. It was tan with red trim around the windows, and there's the Oregon license plate with 1959 a registration tag on that car. But that's the plate that the diver has pictures of that investigators are pretty sure this pinpoints that this could indeed be the car. We talk about that diver. His name is Archer Mayo. And Archer shared some video with us that I now want to share with you on his dive. He has been searching for this car for 7 years. He's always believed that the car was here at Cascade Locks in an area known as the pit. That's a deeper hole right before the locks. The car was covered with rock and debris. He's been clearing that off. We have no idea how long it's going to take for that crane to lift this car out of the water. Now, moments ago, I talked with Archer, and I asked him, what was it like when you first saw this car underwater? And here's what he had to tell me.
As I went further on it, I realized, oh my gosh, this is the car. This is a 54 wagon.
So that's Archer Mayo telling me about what it was like to discover that car, what it was like when he saw that. This has been a 7-year quest for him. Absolutely incredible. He then alerted authorities. Now, Archer got involved in the Martin case because I've been covering this for almost 30 years now. And when he saw my report on the 50th anniversary of the disappearance back in 2008, he got interested in this. He started researching it. And that's when he felt that the car was here at Cascade Locks. Here's what he had to tell me about that.
I'm really happy that you're here and that you've done the work you've done, because I know about it because of you. And I really respect that you used your position to keep the message alive. And when I heard about this, I'm like, oh, I should take that up. I've got the skills to do this.
So hats off to Archer Mayo, the diver who found this car. A lot of praise goes to him, and that's why we are here right now. Let me set the scene again. Behind my right-hand shoulder, you can see the command post set up with the crane now lifted in the background. That crane arriving just about a half hour ago. This could be an important clue, a key piece of evidence in solving the Martin family mystery, the family that disappeared in the Columbia River Gorge more than 66 years ago. There's a lot of theories on why they disappeared. The Hood River Sheriff, a few days after they disappeared, saw tire tracks here, which was then a gravel parking lot leading into the water. He felt Ken Martin had accidentally backed into the locks. But there was some other circumstantial evidence that a Multnomah County detective uncovered. He felt this was foul play. Will we ever know? We don't know until we pull up that car to verify it is actually the Martin car, and there's a good possibility there may be some human remains in that car. 5 months after the Martins went missing, fishermen here at the locks saw 2 bodies floating in the locks. 2 days later, they were found downriver, Virginia Martin and Sue Martin. There are 3 Martins still missing: father, Ken, mother, Barbara, and daughter, Barbie. Are they entombed in that Martin car? So the sheriff investigators are taking a lot of care in bringing this car up. They want to preserve any kind of evidence, and they also want to be very respectful if there are human remains in that car. We heard from the sheriff at the top of the newscast. He also told us they are prepared with special forensic investigators if there are human remains in that car. We don't know. So that's the scene here, Todd. This is a very big news story. Will a 66-year-old Oregon mystery, perhaps one of the biggest mysteries in Oregon's history, at least a puzzle piece of that mystery, be solved with the recovery of this vehicle? And we are sticking with this story all through the afternoon into the evening. And I'll remain here on the scene reporting any new developments, Todd. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you because I want to make my way back down to the command center to learn what the latest is on the crane and the efforts to lift that car out of the water.
Jeff, it is such an incredible story. Like I mentioned at the top, you have been covering it for 20, 25 years. So compelling. I know we have podcasts. You did a documentary on it. And I want to let our viewers know that you can read much more about all of this coverage right now over at KOIN.com. Again, links to our podcasts, previous coverage that Jeff has been spearheading for decades. You can find that all at KOIN.com.